grinding game. And clearly for them, after what they dealt with last night, to have to be back out here early to play, that was a grinder for them, grinder for us. Managing the bullpen and thinking ahead of what was coming at you. They were obviously a very talented, competitive team. We seemed to put ourselves on our heels a little bit with some of the leadoff walks that we had in the game. But you have to pitch. This is not a strike throwing competition. You have to manage both sides of the plate, and sometimes that leads to some walks. That got us in a little trouble. But I thought offensively we had some of those similar moments too, some hit-by pitches and some things that allowed us to produce some runs. And the nice safety squeeze when Jackson pushed that ball down the first base side was well done. Obviously, Max had a great day at the top of the lineup. Watching him this morning in the cage, making some very minor adjustments to what he's doing, and he's learning his art of hitting. And when you take it into the game against that caliber of a left-handed pitcher, it tells you the capabilities that he has. Whittaker at the end to solidify that. He's back in the fold, and we've increased it outing by outing a little bit. That was a lot to ask of him. He responded, pitched well. The defense, again, I think when we talked the other day, I fill up my card with all kinds of in-game notes, but some really nice 3-1, some nice 5-3s, two really nice 6-3s at the end. Cantu hangs in there at first base. He didn't panic and come off the bag and try to tag. He ranged to the far side of the base and hung on, made that look easy. Max's catch in center field, not easy. The ball jumps here, and he got back, found the wall. That was a good play. We had a couple nice blocks. So Cam at third, you have to catch the line drive to end of the game. You do. I mean, it's somewhat of a routine catch. It has to be made. So the defensive athleticism, again, notch win 42, which probably ties us with the most in this league, and it's not easy. I've told you before what we've dealt with all season with the difficulty of the midweek games combined with how grueling this league schedule clearly is. I'm very proud of the way the guys responded all year, and again today performed in a very nice manner.
We'll go ahead and open up for questions. If you have a question on Zoom, please use the raise hand function. We'll try to get to you. We'll take the questions in-house now.
You didn't get the normal production maybe that you get from the middle of the lineup every game, but you still scored 9 runs and had 10 hits. Just to see the depth show up here this week and going into the tournament, just how big is that for you?
It's huge, and it's a batting average. Like, it's an average of what you do over the long haul, and it's hard to categorize one game and feel that somebody didn't perform or not. And I thought there were good at-bats with maybe not as much to show for it in some cases. So the talent overall of the athletes in that lineup allows different bunches of them to do things to allow you to produce runs, because it's not going to be the same guys every day. This guy's hit as many balls hard as you can fathom, and some days he hasn't had as much to show for it as he did today. So when you build this and you put the lineup together, you know that it's not going to be on the screws every day for every player. But if there's enough in there, you'll find moments where you can take advantage and you'll string some good at-bats together, productive at-bats.
Max, Coach mentioned about some adjustments and things that you've been working on. Can you shed some light on that? What are some of the things that you've been focusing on as you hone your hitting craft?
The first couple of games I just kept dribbling them to second. I kept getting beat on off speed. So in the cage, I was just kind of working on trusting my hands, going back to my approach, going the other way, and kind of just trusting who I am as a hitter.
Nice. Take me through that play in center field. What was your mindset, and what did you think off the bat? Did you think you had a shot at the ball?
Yeah, I thought I had a shot, and then, the off outfielders, Jaime and Tibbs, both did a good job counting me down, so I knew where the wall was, so that allowed me to time the jump and make a play.
What's it like sharing the outfield with Tibbs?
Oh, I love playing with him. He's a good guy.
Link, the 2 runs you guys manufactured in the 7th came from the bunt and then Drew stealing 3rd. Just for those things to show up, the things that you guys have worked on a lot right now, just how big was that for you?
It was huge. It's fun to watch them execute things, and I think in that inning, Farrow has struggled at times with the off-speed pitches, and he was sitting on that, and he got it, and he hammered it, and that gets it going. And Cantu going first to third. I've seen guys stop at second base on that ball, like he pushed it, which allows things to happen. And when you do station to station this time of year, it can be difficult because of the quality of the arm. And then Jackson doing the squeeze, and Faroe was looking for something that he got from the pitcher that allowed him to vault into it and go. So it's fun. You work on these things, and sometimes they become mundane because it's not something you see in every game. It just doesn't come up in every game. But when it comes up and they're on point and can execute it, it's fun to watch that as a coach. And these players, it's fun for them to watch the execution in moments that don't happen very often. So that was really nice today.
Coach, using the backside, it just feels like something that's part of this program's DNA for 50 years. I don't know, but I mean, it feels like it's just a Florida State thing. You guys do it so well. How much of a point of emphasis is that for you with your hitting tool?
Aaron, it's huge. I mean, I think that's a fundamental of any good hitters, to be able to track the ball deep, and when the ball's away from you, to stay on it and hitting the other way. And that gives you a chance on the secondary pitches. Like, if you're not able to do that with a fastball, the secondary pitches that these guys have to deal with become overwhelming, and you'll never have a chance to really truly square it up. So I think fundamentally that's step one of hitting, is to manage the outside part of the plate, having a boundary, but then adjusting your way back in, which also gives you a chance to hang in there on some of these really difficult secondary pitches. And the matchups become more significant when you get into this time of year, because he's going to see some really good left-handed arms and the left-on-left spin down and away. If you're not hanging in there, this becomes really, really difficult. So that's a fundamental of hitting, probably the most important one. Getting yourself into a good position to hit allows you to make a later decision, and that's what we shoot to do.
Coach, John Abraham came in a big spot when it was tied 3-3. I know he's been in big spots before, but what's it like seeing him as a freshman, seeing him succeed in those big spots, and where do you see him moving forward in his career?
That breaking ball is really good, and Holtz is good from the left side. Abraham has good sense of that. He's got two of them. He can shape it, add and subtract. The fastball's got enough, and he uses a changeup. So there's a lot in the paint kit there to open up to let Micah decide how to paint this thing. He'll continue to get stronger. He's gained weight. He's getting stronger. The velocity is going to continue to creep up. Usually guys that can really spin it, you see a trend up in velocity as they mature. Whether he ends up starting here or doing what he's doing, time will tell on that. And clearly you would like to have good, capable starting pitchers, but the weapons in the middle part of these games sometimes can snuff things out when the game starts. There's no traffic. So we'll see. I think the role he's in right now suits our staff. We're actually a little more left-handed heavy on our pitching staff, which is rare, good, but rare. So when you can get a righty with a good breaking ball, two of them, it really helps. And I think his niche right now is exactly right for our team.
Connor, when you went down with injury, just how hard did you have to work to get back to produce in moments like this, and how rewarding is it when you're able to come through in a moment like that for your team?
Yeah, I mean, it feels good to be back, and like at the end of the day, I just wanted to be out there with my team and give them all I got for them. So it took a lot of time, a lot of early mornings, some rehab stuff, like all day, every day. But it's just rewarding to be back out there with the boys and win the ball game.
Link, just what can you say about his toughness and competitiveness on the mound?
Well, we all love when he's out there. And we've had to pick our times. Clearly the season started with one concept for him in mind, and that didn't make a lot of sense when he was recovering and coming back. So you assess what your staff needs, and then when you have somebody you really trust, how do you inject that into the right moments? Clearly he could start, and sometimes that's the easiest thing because of the warm-up and the preparation, knowing what's happening when you're starting versus what we dealt with for 1, 2, 3, 4 arms today that had to manage in-game preparation. When you trust somebody and you know they work at it and you know they're prepared and you know they're diligent in how they go about their craft, any role is fine. This just fit us. Like Abraham, it fit what we needed to use him in this way, and he's earned the right to be out there.
We'll take our final 2 questions from Zoom. First, Kurt Wheeler.
I remember, if I remember right, 2 of your teams at Notre Dame were kind of right on, one on the national seed bubble, one on the hosting bubble. Both kind of came up just on the wrong side of that. I guess I know you won't know for sure until Monday. It seems like the consensus is that you're a top 8 right now. I guess what has seeing the success of the last few weeks with so much on the line for your team meant to you?
We won the game at Notre Dame won the league by 4 games, and we're not a national seed. I know that was during COVID, but we played who we could play, and you played an entire ACC schedule and won it by 4 games. So it was far more difficult than this. That had never happened before. That was tough. I'm on the committee now, so I'm involved with the calls, assessing our conference. Those were difficult conversations to try to explain to a team that seemed like they had earned a better hand at this. The response by our guys all year. People ask about last year, and the response to start this year by winning 19 games in a row probably set the wheels in motion for how you want to evaluate this team. That's a heck of a response. And they've answered and answered and answered. The schedule, the strength of schedule and the numbers, I get it. I just encourage anybody to have to deal with what we deal with in the middle of the week, and playing Florida 3 times in that series is tough. This team is one of the best 8 teams in the country. There's no question in my mind. They've responded time and time and time again, and that's not ultimately my decision. You guys study it. The committee clearly watches everything that's going on this weekend more closely than I can. These guys have earned it. They've performed all phases of the game. The depth on the mound, we might have, is that 9 guys now with saves? 10? 9? And that's not easy to do. The depth of this, the athleticism of the team, the versatility offensively, the balance offensively, they've earned the right.
Looks like we have no more questions on Zoom. Anytime, one more?
Yeah, Max, just that first pitch you got for the home run, just were you sitting on that breaking ball, or was that just a read react situation for you?
His splits, he was like 47% first pitch slider and like 47 something heater. So I was kind of just sitting in between. So it's kind of like capped it, but I still got enough of it for it to go out.